Hi, welcome to part 10 in my video series. This is the prenup, or what's known as the definitive agreement. This is where you kind of agree in advance, if things don't work out, this is how it's going to be dealt with. So in this definitive agreement, there are lots of different provisions. What I'm really going to focus on are what representations and warranties you're going to make about your family and your child that you're about to marry off, and what happens if those representations that you make are not really true and the buyer finds out about it after closing. So about representations and warranties. I know the buyer did due diligence, you provided them all this information. Well, now you get pages and pages and pages, sometimes like 40, 60 pages of representations and warranties. And this is sentence after sentence about, yes, I complied with the law. No, I don't own any real estate. No, I don't need any consents except for these three. Lots of items. We're talking about everything that the buyer asked about. Now we're going to have a sentence that, yes, what I told you is really true. Or we're going to put on a schedule some exceptions, like, oh, well, there was that one time that Aunt Betty at the Christmas party did say X, Y, or Z. That may have been sexual harassment. Don't worry, we settled it. Things like that. If after closing, any of those representations and warranties were actually not true when made, usually whether you knew about it or not, but they come out after closing, that buyer is going to come back and be able to get some money back from you. Usually money is set aside in an escrow account or something like that for a year to 18 months after closing. So there's this definitive time period of like, well, if you were, you didn't know that there was that sexual harassment event at the Christmas party and we find out about it, now the employee is claiming some money, things like that. The buyer's going to say, you get to pay for that because that happened when you were in charge of the business, not when I was. Other reps and warranties about like, is this really your child and do you have the right to marry them off? Those are going to survive possibly forever. Taxes, paying the government, those are going to survive for a very long time as well. So after closing, there's going to be this time period where things might be a little bit shaky and you make these purchase price adjustments and things like that. Next up in the video series is the wedding, the big day.